probabilities later. But right now, Alex Smith is still questionable. With the release of Dwayne Haskins, I could see that creating more optimism for the Cowboys. Um, Welcome into the uh, Philadelphia Eagles. Sorry. Welcome into the live stream. We're going to be going over some of the post Week 16 things. Um, we're starting off with the NFC East, as you can see. Basically, Washington um, is still in the lead right now because they swept the Cowboys. But if they lose, they are out. So, Philadelphia last week was eliminated from playoff contention with the loss to the Cowboys. Now, the football team clinches the fourth seed with a win against the Eagles. The Cowboys can clinch with a loss to the Eagles. The Cowboys clinch with a win and a Washington football team loss. The Giants clinch with a win and a Washington football team loss. So basically, if the Eagles win, then the winner of the Cowboys-Giants game is the NFC's championship. It wins the NFC East. We're going to first start with the Washington football game. Right now, it's looking like Alex Smith might go. Ron Rivera said yesterday that he was optimistic about his chances. Now, I don't know how healthy he will go if he plays. Like, is he going to be like, it's week 17, I might as well just go out there and see what I can do? Or is he legitimately healthy? Alex Smith is 4-1 this year as the starter, so this team plays much better when he is out there, because with Dwayne Haskins, they were 1-5. Basically, because their defense is so good, they can manage like 3-and-outs and stuff. But if they turn the ball over, they don't win games. Alex Smith, as you know, does not turn the ball over like ever. So their defense can manage field position starting at like the 25-yard line. But if they're on the opposing like 30 or even in the red zone already, they're not going to win any football games. They're just going to let up. Okay, if Alex Smith, right now, I have Alex Smith playing like 55% of the time. I think he will probably go. I just don't think he's going to be healthy. I think they might have to pull him from the game, or they might put him on like a snap count. If Alex Smith is legitimately healthy, I think the football team has a 85% chance of winning, because if they don't turn the ball over and their defense plays at the level they have been playing the whole year, I don't think Jalen Hurts will have a chance. But if Alex Smith is hurt, but he still plays, I give the football team a 40% chance. Basically, if your quarterback is hurt but still out there, he might be more of a liability, even if he's Alex Smith. Alex Smith is never going to be the same after that leg injury, but he's still a manageable or serviceable quarterback. If Taylor Heineke plays, which was the third string quarterback going into week 16, but they cut him after what he did during the week 15 going into week 16 with the whole COVID thing. If Taylor Heineke starts or plays, I give him a 30% chance. Taylor Heineke isn't anything special. If Alex Smith plays, they have a much better chance, but Taylor Heineke, he won't win you a football game. Now, looking over to the Eagles side of the ball, Jalen Hurts will be looking to be better in sort of a bounce-back game. They got embarrassed by the Cowboys. Jalen Hurts was playing really good football up until the Cowboys game, where he kind of didn't play all that well. I mean, he turned the ball over 3 times. I will give you only the interception was bad. The fumble wasn't actually a fumble. It was just a call when it going in the Cowboys' direction. The last interception by Trayvon Diggs was just out of desperation. They were looking for anything. I don't really blame them for that. What I see the Eagles doing is if they can get out of the pocket, I could see them going deep for Deshaun Jackson like they did when they were winning in the Cowboys game. He is still a really fast receiver, and the Washington secondary isn't good. So if they can just get past that D line, maybe roll out, do some bootlegs, they can potentially hit the deep ball. The escapability of Hurts, like I just mentioned, will help against the Washington D line. If they can do bootlegs or just get away from that all that congestion with the offensive and defensive lines, they can set up 10-yard passes, deep balls, or Jalen Hurts could just run. Washington the Washington plays good for Smith. It's just, will he be healthy enough to go? That's the biggest question going into this game. If he does go, like I said, I think they have a really good shot at winning. If he doesn't go, I don't see them winning. But with the release of Dwayne Haskins, it does show some optimism for Smith's return. I know that Haskins was horrible in the Carolina game, 2 interceptions, didn't even have a touchdown, but he is still their first overall pick, their number 1 draft pick. Yeah. So now we're going to be going over to the other side of the NFC East, the Cowboys game and the Giants. Now this game happened earlier in the season, and the Cowboys got the better of them. But as you probably know, that is the game where Dak went down. As you know, Dak is their starting quarterback. He was playing at an MVP level up until that time. The only reason they were 1-3 is because their defense was so bad. But as we speak, the Cowboys are the best team in the East right now. It doesn't matter about records. They have won 3 straight. They're number 1 in turnover differential, and their offense is playing lights out. They have scored at least 30 points in their last 3 games. Many people say it's because they face bad opponents, which is true, but you can't control who you play. They've beat the people they've needed to put themselves into position to win this awful division. I think what's going to happen is the Cowboys receivers are going to burn their corners. I know the Giants corners aren't really that good. So Michael Gallup or Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, any of those guys, if they can get past those corners, then I think Andy Dalton can hit them for some long balls. I know the Cowboys defense are really good at forcing turnovers in the past couple of weeks. Since week 14, like I said, they're the number 1 team in terms of turnover differential. They forced 10 turnovers, and they have only given up 1 ball. The Cowboys play good pass defense, but are horrible at run defense. So how this helps the Cowboys actually is because the Giants are horrible at running. Since losing Saquon Barkley to a torn ACL, he is not. This Giants team cannot run the ball. They have Gallman, but he's just your everyday Joe. He isn't anything special. Also, Daniel Jones isn't 100%. He went out with that hamstring injury earlier in the season, so he's not gonna be the mobile quarterback that everyone knows him as. So he's gonna be trying to stay in that pocket and throw that ball out quickly. So expect some check downs with some quick passes, slants, ins, outs, corners, some of that sort of quick stuff, so that this Cowboy defensive line can't get there. If they can execute that properly, I can see them winning this game. But if they try to do the long ball, people like DeMarcus Lawrence, Aldon Smith, Randy Gregory, those types of players are going to get there, hit home, and are going to sack him, and they won't do anything. Now, Jason Garrett might be looking for some revenge for getting fired. That might be some motivation for the Giants, but also motivation for the Cowboys is that this is where their season really ended. The Cowboys, as you know, Dak got hurt against the Giants in this game. Now their season isn't really dead, but it kind of the reason why they're 7-9 is because Dak is out. Um, the Cowboys played the Giants really well. Since Dak became the starter in 2016, I think they're like 8-1 against the Giants. So they just play him really good. But the way the Giants beat the Cowboys is to get pressure on Andy Dalton. When Andy is pressured, he holds onto the ball too long and then he takes sacks. The way the Cowboys win is if they take the ball away and play complementary football. Um, I will tell you who I think will win the NFC East later in this live stream in the Who's In and Who's Out segments. At that point, you will know who I have going to the playoffs and who I have sitting home and watching. Um, Now we're going to move on to Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins, as you know, played for the Washington football team. He was the, I think, 19th overall pick in the 2019 draft. Oh, no, he was like the 11th, I think. He has been horrible in his career. He is 3-10 as a starter with 12 TDs to 14 interceptions with a 60% completion percentage. But if you're looking at that isn't really why they're releasing him. He was released after multiple virus violations. As you know, Ron Rivera has had a very public battle with cancer, and it's kind of like a slap in his face when he hears what Dwayne Haskins was doing. I think everyone really saw this coming from a mile away. Everyone knew that he wasn't going to last the season, and the only real reason he stayed on the roster after all this came to light was because Alex Smith was injured, and they didn't know what they had with Taylor Heineke. But now, after the horrible Panthers outing that that Haskins put up, they realized it was just better if they just pulled the plug there and then. Yeah. So that was one of the quicker segments of today. So now we're going to be going to the Steelers problem. But before we do that, I'm going to take a quick 1-minute break, and I will be back, and we will talk about the reason the Steelers will not win a playoff game, or they definitely won't win the Super Bowl. But I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Actually, hold on 1 second. I just have to fix one thing. Okay, my audio was kind of bad there, but it should be all right now. Okay, going into the Steelers' problem. Um, the way to beat Pittsburgh, I think, is pretty obvious. You stop the checkdowns. Big Ben isn't what he used to be. Make Big Ben beat you over the top. He kind of did that in the Colts game, but I think if you can take away those short slants, ins, outs, corners, posts, some of those, the Steelers won't have enough to beat you. Things that can do that are like zone coverages, cover twos, cover threes, some of those. Um, but that does leave some weaknesses over the top. But Big Ben hasn't been able to make those throws all season, and he hasn't really even attempted them. Also, another way to beat them, the Steelers are horrible at running the ball. In their last game against the Colts, They had 20 yards rushing all game, which is absolutely atrocious. I think they had like 20 attempts to their James Conner was the only one with rushing yards. He had 20 on I think like 7 attempts, and the other guy, I forget his name, the backup, had 6 rushes for 0 yards. And if you're a playoff team, you are not winning games like that. Every good playoff team can run the ball. With Green Bay, it's Aaron Jones. With the Titans, Derrick Henry. You remember last year? Remember what they did to the Ravens after they literally just ran all over the Ravens. The Browns have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. As you know, they have one of the most dangerous duos in the league in terms of running backs. And the Colts have Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is one of the most underrated backs in the whole league. He's played really good this season, and I think should be at least considered for maybe Rookie of the Year or Offensive Rookie of the Year with up there with Justin Herbert. Against good teams with good secondaries, they will not win games. As you know, Buffalo has a pretty good secondary, and the Steelers got basically they just got straight up beat. The Steelers will not win games in the playoffs versus teams with good secondaries. Also, I want to bring this up. The Steelers were 4-11 on third downs versus the Colts. That is horrible. You're converting it maybe 1 out of 4 times. So if you're going 3 and out every single time, you're not being able to put together long drives and wearing down that defense. Yeah. So that's the way you beat the Steelers. If the Steelers can fix the third down troubles, if Big Ben can start to throw it over the top and they can start actually running the ball, the Steelers are a pretty dangerous team. Their defense hasn't played to the level that they have been all season, but that's just because of injuries to Devin Bush and players like that. Now we're going to move on to the Chiefs' problem. Now, the Steelers' problem is definitely way more concerning, but the Chiefs also have some problems. Now, I want to get this out of the way right away. The Chiefs are a Super Bowl caliber team. They can win it again. Mahomes is a top 2, maybe top 1 quarterback in the league. I think you can make a case for Aaron Rodgers as the better quarterback, but Mahomes is definitely one of the best. The Chiefs this year have had red zone struggles on both sides of the ball, but the main one that's concerning is the offensive side of the ball. Without Clyde Edwards-Helaire, this team cannot score on the same level in the red zone than they could with Helaire. Now, hopefully for the playoffs, he will be healthy and he will be ready to go so that they can play him and they can run the ball. But if this team doesn't have Helaire to run the ball, they will have to get 30-plus yard touchdowns to Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce or whoever to score. Also, you could run into problems on 3rd and shorts and 4th and shorts. On 3rd and 1s, they're having to pass the ball. Or on 4th and 1s, they're having to pass the ball because they can't run the football. If you look back to that 4th and short play versus the Falcons, I don't really know what the trick play one. I don't really know what Andy Reid was thinking. He took a very unnecessary risk when calling that play. He put Mahomes potentially at risk to getting injured on that jump ball. You really shouldn't be putting your quarterback to that sort of thing. Like, if he isn't open, you're supposed to throw that ball away. But that could have derailed the whole Chiefs season if that didn't go the right way. They need to figure out this rushing offense. Although this team is on the 7-game win streak, they have not been playing great football this December. In all of the 7-game win streaks in NFL history, the Chiefs have an NFL record low for the amount of points they win by at 3.9 points per game. But like I said, they are still a Super Bowl contender. If they can score in the red zone, I think they can easily win the Super Bowl. There are 2 teams that the Chiefs should really be worried about. One of them is the Buffalo Bills, who are playing also really amazing football. And the other one is the Green Bay Packers, who I think should be a Super Bowl favorite in the NFC. But we'll get to that later. Now we're going to be moving on to the Bears. The Bears are an interesting one. They started the year 5-2, and then they kind of fell off the map. They then were by week 13 they were 5-7, and they were pretty much counted out of the playoff race. But then what they did was they changed their play callers, and this Bear offense has come alive. They've won, I think, 4 straight or 3 straight, and basically, if they win in week 17, they're in the playoffs. They've scored like 35. They're almost very similar to the Cowboys in this. They've scored 30 points in the last 3 outings. Yes, they've been up against bad teams, but that's who they played. They can control who they play. With that great defense, a good offense could catapult this team to some potential even playoff wins. But the problem is they haven't faced a good defense yet. If they faced, I don't know, the Steelers defense or the Green Bay defense, if they, the Seattle defense, if they face those, how will they match up? Will they still score their 35 points per game, or will they be somewhere around the 17 to 25 range? Now, their first test comes week 17 to get them into the playoffs. They have to play a Green Bay team who is playing for the number 1 overall seed. We will get into more of this matchup later in with the who's in, who's out in the AFC and NFC playoff picture. But they have to beat a very tough Green Bay team who, like I said, are probably Super Bowl favorites. Okay, we're going to be moving on to the who's in and who's out. But first, we're going to be talking about I think it's like 7 teams who are still, who can still clinch a playoff berth but haven't yet. We're going to start with the NFC. The Washington football team, the LA Rams, the Chicago Bears, the Dallas Cowboys, the Arizona Cardinals, and the New York Giants. 3 of these teams are in the same division in the NFC East, and as you know, we've already talked about that. I will be giving you some of who I think is going to be in later on. Moving on to the AFC, we have the Tennessee Titans, the Indianapolis Colts, the Miami Dolphins, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Cleveland Browns. 4 of the 5 teams there will be making the playoffs, and we will just have to see who they are. I will give you my predictions later on. Okay, for the NFC, who I think will be in, I think it'll be the Cardinals. So these are all the wild card teams. The Cardinals, the Rams, and the Cowboys, I think will get in. Okay, my reasoning. For the Cardinals, Goff is hurt. Darrell Henderson is also hurt. Arizona is coming off of a bad loss to the 49ers, a 20-12 loss. Kyler Murray is a little banged up, but I think he'll go, especially with their playoff hopes on the line. And Goff is not going to be playing. He has that broken and dislocated thumb. It looks like the Drew Brees injury from last year against the Rams. But if they beat the Rams, they clinch a playoff berth, and I think they will do just that. Okay, the Rams. Although I expect the Rams to lose against the Cardinals, I also expect the Bears to lose against Green Bay, which would put the Rams into the postseason. I just don't see the Bears beating MVP frontrunner. I don't expect the Bears to beat the MVP frontrunner led Packers. I will get into more of this later on when I talk about why the Bears will lose. Okay, now we're looking at the Cowboys here. I don't think Alex Smith is going to be 100%. I think he'll still play, but only because their season's on the line. I don't think he's going to be 100%. He hurt his bad leg, and if you rush this, it could spell the end to his career. But the betting lines right now for the 2 things that the Cowboys need to clinch, the Cowboys are favored in one of the 2, which is the Cowboys are favored against the Giants. I think it's like 2.5 points right now. But I think the Eagles could, if they play good football, they can win that game and put the Cowboys into the postseason. Okay, for the AFC teams that I think will clinch this week, I have the Tennessee Titans, the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, and the Indianapolis Colts. Um, my reasoning: the Titans, the teams that are playing that I am clinching are all playing like not great teams. Okay, so the Titans play a pretty bad Houston team aside from Deshaun Watson. As you know, Deshaun Watson is really good, but uh, since trading to DeAndre Hopkins, they aren't the same team. They can't win games anymore. They are 4-11. I expect them to. I expect the Titans to win, and if the Titans win, they're in. So I think they will get in. I think they would be the 4 seed actually. I think. Okay, another team, the Ravens. The Ravens play the Bengals, and although the Bengals have been playing better in these past weeks, so have the Ravens, and I expect the Ravens to win. And the Ravens have way more to play for. If the Ravens win, they're in. If the with the playoffs on the line, I expect the Ravens just to win this game. It might be close. I don't know. I don't really know how this Bengals team will respond after beating Houston. They beat Houston like 37-31, and then the previous week they had their most impressive win of the year by far. They beat the 11-2 Steelers at the time, 27-17. Okay, the Browns. I think the Browns will be looking to get right after the catastrophic game against the Jets on Sunday. I think the Browns will be looking to get right to reach the postseason. I think Baker will come in with something to prove and will get it done. Yes, they play the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I think they have they have the recipe to beat the Steelers. I think they'll stop the checkdowns, and Myles Garrett will hit home a couple of times, and that will shake Big Ben up. And I expect the Browns to win this game and punch their ticket to the postseason. For the final one, the Colts. The Colts play the worst team in football. They play the Jags, and they're one of those other teams that if they win, they're in. I they just play a bad team, and if they win, they'll get in. Yeah, so that's who I have in the postseason at the end of this week. And now I'm gonna be telling you who is out, but I'm gonna take like a 30-second break. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. We're going to be going over who is out of the postseason. So, for the 3 teams I have out of the postseason in the NFC are the Washington football team, the Chicago Bears, and the New York Giants. Okay, the football team. We've kind of gone over this, but either Taylor Heineke or Alex Smith. Alex Smith can be 100% if he starts. Taylor Heineke just isn't that talented. I think that they'll lose, and they're just going to open the door for the Cowboys. The Bears. The Bears play a Packers team fighting for the number 1 seed. The Packers are a better team, and they will win this game. And although the Bears were good down the stretch, it was too little, too late. For the Giants, this is just a bad matchup for the Giants. The Cowboys play the Giants really well. Like I said earlier, Daniel Jones is a turnover machine. He loves to fumble the ball, and they're just gonna lose. They could win if they stop the short passes and get pressure on Andy Dalton. I just don't see that happening, especially with the possible return of Zach Martin to the Cowboys O-line, the Hall of Fame level right guard. They might push him out to right tackle to help Terrence Steele, the undrafted rookie free agent who really shouldn't even be on a football field. Yeah. Heading over to the AFC, I have the Dolphins not making it. Sort of the similar situation to the Bears. They're playing a team fighting for a better seed. The Bills are just a better team, and I don't think the Dolphins will be able to do it. I would also like to add that Brian Flores, the head coach for the Dolphins, is playing a very dangerous game when he benches Tua every time he falters. Like in the Raiders game, he wasn't producing offense, like any offensive yards, so he put Fitzmagic in there. And although it did pay off for them, um, it's just not good for the mental side of Tua and his mental side. I don't think any quarterback could do good of knowing that if they throw an interception or anything like that, they'll be benched for another quarterback. Okay, moving on to our final two segments, we are going to be going over the AFC playoff picture and the NFC playoff picture. So after looking at all of the players or all the teams that I thought would be in and out of this postseason, I have made them into a list. Okay, to the AFC. The number one seed is the Chiefs. They've already clinched. Number two will be the Bills. I think the Bills will win against the Dolphins and will effectively eliminate the Dolphins, but will also higher their seed, so they will be 13-3. The Steelers, I think, will lose and will be 12-4 on the year. I think the Browns will beat them, and the Browns will make their ticket to the postseason. Number 4 would be the Titans. The Titans are gonna beat the who do they play? Sorry. They play the Houston Texans. Yeah, they're gonna win that game. Just like that. Okay, number 5 seed, it will be the Ravens. The Ravens beat the Browns both times, so that's why the Browns get the 5 and that's why the Ravens get the 5, the Browns get the 6. These last 4 teams are all 11-5, but they play each other. So the Titans beat the Ravens. I think it was like week 10. So the Titans get the 4 seed. No. Hold on. The Ravens beat the Browns twice, so they get the 5 seed. And then the Browns beat the Colts, so the Browns get the 6 seed. Yeah, there we go. And then the Colts get the 7 seed. They're going to beat the Jags, and they're going to be in the postseason. Okay, the NFC playoff picture. I have the Packers with the number 1 overall seed. They're going to beat the Bears. They're going to punch their ticket to the number 1 seed in a bye. And the NFC playoffs are going to have to run through Lambeau, which will be hard for anyone to beat them. Number 2 will be the Saints. The Saints are a really good football team. Some say that they're kind of a fraud almost, but because of their loss to the Eagles a couple weeks ago. But what I have to say to that is there was no tape on Jalen Hurts of any long stretch. There was a couple read options or quarterback draws in the season with Carson Wentz in there, but I think the Saints will lock up the number 2, and then that'll leave the Seahawks at the number 3 seed. Yeah, nothing. They're just the other team. They could win. They could get the 2. I think these first 3 seeds are pretty interchangeable. You could say the Saints get 1, Packers 2, Seahawks 3, Seahawks 1, Packers 2, Saints 3. This is just how I see it ending up. Okay, number 4, like I said earlier, is the Dallas Cowboys. I think the football team will lose, the Cowboys will win, and the Cowboys will be in the postseason. 5 will be the Bucks. They've already clinched, so there isn't really much about that. They've been playing good football as of late. They beat the Detroit Lions 47-7. Brady was taken out at the end of the first half because it was just such a blowout. They don't want to risk hurting him. Okay, and then 6 would be the Cardinals, and 7 would be the Rams. The Cardinals and Rams will play this week in Week 17, and I expect the Cardinals to win, which would mean the Cardinals would get the 6 seed, and the Rams would get the 7 seed. So, yeah, I think that's it for me today. I would like to thank all you who tuned in through the whole thing. Thank you for watching. We're coming on, I think, 35 minutes here. But I'd like to thank all of you guys for watching. Yeah. And I will see you in the next stream, which will probably be on Thursday, where I will go over who I see winning Week 17 for all the games. Not